Good morning. Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to attend G20 Leaders Summit in Johannesburg. Focus on strengthening cooperation, advancing development priorities and ensuring a better future. Prime Minister Modi meets his Australian counterpart Albanese on the sidelines of the summit, pledges deeper cooperation to boost ties, also interacts with tech leaders and community members. Ukraine faces difficult choice as Trump demands acceptance of peace plan. Zalinski warns risks of losing US support. Flood and landslides devastate central Vietnam. Death toll reaches 41. Warning of more rains issued. And in cricket, India takes on South Africa in the second test in Guwahati with an aim to level the series. The G20 Leaders Summit will begin in South Africa's Johannesburg today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to attend the summit. He will present India's perspective in line with the vision of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, or the world is one family, and one earth, one family, one future.
Prime Minister will participate in G20 Summit. This summit is special because it is happening in Africa, on this continent for the first time. Prime Minister will present India's perspectives on the agenda that forms part of G20 Summit. He will also have several bilateral meetings on the sidelines.
South Africa has carried forward the outcomes from the previous G20 summits held in New Delhi and Rio de Janeiro, with solidarity, equality and sustainability being the theme of this presidency. It is the first G20 summit being held in Africa. During India's presidency of the G20 in 2023, the African Union had become a member of the G20.
सबका साथ की भावना से ही भारत ने प्रस्ताव रखा था कि अफ्रीकन यूनियन को G20 की स्थायी
The two-day G20 summit will discuss issues such as development, climate crisis, global economic imbalances. We get you a comprehensive report on what's on agenda from India's perspective.
सबका साथ की भावना से ही भारत ने प्रस्ताव रखा था कि अफ्रीकन यूनियन को G20 की स्थायी सदस्यता दी जाए। मेरा विश्वास है कि इस प्रस्ताव पर हम सबकी सहमति है।
The African Union was admitted as a member at the G20 summit chaired by India in 2023. This is the first time the G20 summit is being held in an African country. Host country South Africa has stated its focus on strengthening an inclusive, just and sustainable global architecture. Representatives from 42 countries and organizations are participating at various levels in this summit. It includes 20 of the 21 G20 members, 16 guest countries, and representatives from 6 regional and economic groups. The United States has declined to attend, so its seat will remain vacant. Currently, the G20 members are Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, Germany, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, South Korea, Turkey, the United Kingdom, the United States, the European Union and the African Union. India placed the Global South at the center of the G20 summit held under its chairmanship. Following the same logic, this year's G20 summit has been divided into 3 major sessions, taking into account current circumstances. The first session will focus on issues such as inclusive and sustainable economic growth, trade, development, finance and debt burden. The second session is on a resilient world, where they'll discuss disaster risk management, climate change, a just energy transition, and food systems. And the third session on a just future for all. That will include critical minerals, decent employment, and artificial intelligence. It is understood that the summit participants will present their proposals around these issues.
This is the first G20 summit that will be happening on African soil, and in that context will bring the spotlight on the development issues of Africa as also of the global south.
Several reports will be presented to the leaders before the summit. There will be reports on global inequality, expert panels on Africa, and a review of the G20's 20th anniversary. In addition, several high-level meetings will be held: the Global Fund Replenishment Discussion, the Renewable Energy Pledge Forum, events related to the Compact with Africa, and a special session with the heads of African countries. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will meet several world leaders separately on this occasion. He'll also participate in the summit meeting of IPSA, or the India, Brazil and South Africa.
On the margins of G20 Summit, PM will be participating in the IPSA, India, Brazil, South Africa leaders meeting, as well as holding bilateral meeting with several leaders who will be present in Johannesburg.
So far, 130 of the 133 G20 meetings have been held. The final phase is underway at the Sherpa level meeting, where efforts are being made to reach consensus on the leaders' declaration. The Global South is certainly being discussed prominently, with Africa in particular at the center. Bureau Report, DD India.
And earlier on Friday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a meeting with his Australian counterpart, Anthony Albanese. This year, the strategic partnership between the two nations completes 5 years. These years have witnessed transformative outcomes that have deepened the cooperation. During the talks, the two leaders emphasized 3 key sectors: defense and security, nuclear energy and trade, where there is immense potential for ties to grow further. The other sectors discussed included education, cultural exchanges and more. Both leaders also reaffirmed their shared commitment to strengthen global fight against terrorism. Prime Minister also interacted with Indian origin tech entrepreneurs in Johannesburg. They talked about the work they're doing in sectors such as fintech, social media platforms, agriculture, education, healthcare, medical devices and more. Prime Minister called upon tech leaders to deepen their engagement with India and work closely with the people. PM Modi also interacted with members of Indian community based in South Africa who are actively working with different community organizations. They shared their experiences on various issues, were appreciative of India's strides across different fields. Prime Minister urged them to keep up the momentum with which they are enhancing people-to-people linkages. He also asked them to boost the popularity of Indian culture among the people of South Africa, including practices such as yoga, Ayurveda, and urging more people from South Africa to take part in Bharat Ko Janiye or Know India quiz. During the interaction, Prime Minister received a kalash from Chinmay Mission, consisting of Sri Anna or millets from India as well as South Africa. This will be placed in the Annapurna Devi Temple in Durban. Earlier, Prime Minister Modi began the Johannesburg visit by interacting with members of NASPER Group, including Chairman Koos Bekker and CEO Fabrizio Peozzi, developing investment linkages in India's digital ecosystem. AI, startup and space sectors featured prominently in the discussions. It is commendable how NASPERS is actively working with talented youth across diverse sectors. NASPER's success in India reflects ease of doing business and strength of startup ecosystem in India. The NASPER Group is aiming to double its investment in India. Chairman Koos Bekker lauded Prime Minister Modi's vision in the field of AI. CEO Fabrizio Peozzi added that NASPER is investing in new startups in the country. DD India's Amritpal Singh gets us more from Johannesburg.
In Johannesburg, Prime Minister met the chairman and the CEO of NASPER Group. NASPER Group's already invested in India, but they're looking at doubling this investment. I have with me the chairman of the NASPER Group. So, in your meeting with the Prime Minister, what transpired, and where do you think is especially AI going, and what role do you see India playing in that?
You know, the first thing that struck me is how well informed your Prime Minister is. Many politicians don't have an idea of technology, and we talked artificial intelligence and the application to different sectors in India, and he's really well informed, he understands it. So we explored which areas might be most interesting for India, because AI will create jobs, but it also destroy jobs. So you have to think about the total effect on the economy. And he directed us to certain areas where he think it will be best.
What specific areas did you discuss with the Prime Minister?
We've been investing more than 80,000 crores in India over the last years, and we really want to double that. We are investing in many startups. We have many of the most interesting technology companies in India, as Swiggy, as Meesho, as Urban Company, and many more. And our big focus is AI, and we are going to keep investing in AI in e-commerce, in improving the quality of services to the whole population, in health, in connecting farmers and producers of products in India, not only to sell in India, but to sell to the world. Using our technology, using our global reach together, the capabilities of India to innovate and to produce, I'm sure we are going to have a great future together.
So given India's talent pool when it comes to technology or IT, now groups like NASPER are looking at partnering with India, doubling their investment. They already have significant investment in India, as the CEO was saying, but they're now looking at doubling, especially in technology and artificial intelligence. With cameraman Mohit Joshi, this is Amrit Pal Singh for DD India in Johannesburg.
Upon arrival in Johannesburg, South Africa, Prime Minister Modi was accorded a traditional welcome at the hotel. Children sang Ganpati Prathana, Shanti Mantra and other prayers. Prime Minister said such moments reaffirm the enduring bonds between our people. Also, members of Indian community showcased folk dances from 11 states of India during a short cultural program titled Rhythms of a United India. Prime Minister said it is commendable how the Indian community has remained connected with its roots. Prime Minister also noted how Indian diaspora in South Africa is very happy with Government of India's decision of extending Overseas Citizenship of India or OCI facility up to 7th generation persons of Indian origin in South Africa. Earlier it was only available up to 4th generation. Prime Minister said this strengthens our enduring linkages with dynamic Indian community in South Africa. Prime Minister also witnessed a performance of South African Girmitia song Ganga Maiya in Johannesburg. Another special part of the performance was the rendition in Tamil. Prime Minister said the song carries unbroken spirit of those who came to South Africa many years ago. He added that they kept India alive in their hearts through songs and prayers. In a historic decision, Government of India has made 4 labour codes effective from today to simplify and streamline labour laws. This landmark move lays the foundation for future-ready workforce and stronger, resilient industries driving labour reforms for self-reliant India. The 4 labour codes include the Code on Wages 2019, the Industrial Code 2020, the Code on Social Security 2020, the Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Code 2020. Now let's take a look at the benefits of labour reforms across key sectors, which include a fixed term employees to receive all benefits equal to permanent workers, gig work, platform work and aggregators have been defined for the first time. Gender discrimination has been legally prohibited. New reforms ensure equal pay for equal work. All workers have been guaranteed a minimum wage, will also receive free annual health checkups. The reform includes mandatory release of salary by 7th of every month. Prime Minister Modi hailed the implementation of the 4 labour codes. Taking to microblogging site X, Prime Minister says, and I quote, "Today our government has given effect to 4 labour codes. It is one of the most comprehensive and progressive labour-oriented reforms since independence. It greatly empowers our workers, also significantly simplifies compliance and promotes ease of doing business," unquote. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Peru's ex-president Castillo rejects rebellion charges. Colombia makes its largest cocaine bust in a decade. And England on top of Australia in Ashes opener in Perth. Day 2 resumes in a short while. Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Friday welcomed US peace plan and said that the plan could lay the foundation for Ukraine peace deal, confirming for the first time that Moscow had received a copy from the United States. Putin, in a televised comment, said he believes that it can be used as a basis for a final peaceful settlement, adding that the plan had not been discussed in detail with Russia. Putin also threatened to seize more territory if Kiev rejects the proposal, saying that the claimed recent capture of Ukrainian city Kupiansk.
We have this text. We received it through existing channels of communication with the US administration. I believe it can be used as a basic of a financial peaceful settlement, but it has not been discussed with us in detail, and I can guess why. The reason is the same. The US administration has so far failed to secure Ukraine's consent. Ukraine is against it.
Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky pledged on Friday to work fast and constructively with the US on the peace plan to end the conflict with Russia. In a video statement, he urged Ukrainians to remain united in what he described as one of the most difficult moments in the country's history, adding he would not betray his country's national interest.
Now it is one of the most difficult moments in our history. Now the pressure on Ukraine is one of the most difficult. Now Ukraine may find itself facing a very difficult choice, either the loss of dignity or the risk of losing a key partner, either the difficult 28 points or an extremely difficult winter, the most difficult, and for the risk, the national Ukrainian interest must be taken into account. We are not making loud statements. We will calmly work with America and all partners. There will be a constructive search for solutions with our main partner.
Earlier, President Zelensky also had a phone call with US Vice President J.D. Vance that Ukraine would work with United States and Europe at an advisor level to work towards a peace plan for his country's conflict with Russia. US President Donald Trump said Ukrainian President Zelensky will have to like the US plan to end the conflict with Russia. Speaking in the Oval Office, Trump said the approaching winter, the mounting death toll, repeated attacks on Ukrainian energy plants underscored the urgency of ending the conflict. Washington's 28-point plan calls on Ukraine to cede territory, accept limits on its military, and renounce ambitions to join the NATO.
President Zalinski, about your plan to meet with them?
I've spoken with their people. We have a plan. It's horrible what's happening. It's a war that should have never happened. It would have never happened if I was president, and it's a shame. And I thought they should have acted quicker. But it's a cold winter, and a lot of the you talk about utilities, but a lot of the big energy-producing plants have been under attack, to put it mildly, to put it nicely. Yeah, we have a way of getting peace, or we think we have a way of getting peace.
In other news, Colombia made its largest cocaine bust in a decade, authorities announced on Friday, with 14 tons confiscated at main Pacific port amid tensions with Washington, which has branded Bogota's anti-drug policies insufficient. The seizure in the world's largest cocaine-producing country comes as the White House threatens President Gustavo Petro with financial sanctions and Colombia's removal from the list of allies in the war on drugs. Although Petro considers Trump's sanctions unfair, claims that the record seizures have been made under his government. Former Peruvian President Pedro Castillo has rejected charges of rebellion and conspiracy as his trial enters its final stage. Castillo told judges that the case was designed to destroy his reputation and insisted he never attempted a coup. He was arrested in 2022 after announcing plans to dissolve the Congress and rule by decree, prompting prosecutors to seek a 34-year sentence. His lawyer argued there is no evidence of rebellion or conspiracy and called for an acquittal. Outside the police complex where the trial is held, supporters gathered calling Castillo a political prisoner.
Como un presidente de la República secuestrado.
I am not here to ask for clemency or sympathy. I am here to demand justice. You are judging a political man, a president of the republic, and behind you there is a family. You are academics, you are magistrates, you are teaching what law is. But I am also sure that your environment or those who follow you also face a situation where history will judge us. Do the right thing.
The death toll from a new barrage of torrential rain, flooding and landslides in central Vietnam since the weekend has risen to 41, with water levels rising further in already inundated towns and villages. Rainfall exceeded 60 inches in several parts of central Vietnam over the past 3 days. The region is home to a key coffee production belt as well as the country's most popular beaches, but is highly prone to storms and floods. More than 500,000 households and businesses faced blackouts after power grids were damaged by the floods, according to the government updates. The National Weather Forecast Agency warned of more flooding and landslides to come on Friday, with heavy rains to continue in the region. Let's now turn to sports. India and South Africa are set to lock horns today in Guwahati in the second test, with both sides having arrived at the venue after a 3-day finish in Kolkata. India are chasing a series levelling win after a 30-run defeat, while South Africa look to secure the 2-match series. The opening test saw both teams bowled out in 4 innings without reaching 200, a rare occurrence in India's red ball history. Strong spells from Simon Harmer and Keshav Maharaj, along with steady half-century from Themba Bavuma, shaped South Africa's win. India's chase of 124 fell short, becoming their second lowest failed pursuit in test. With the series at stake, India have handed the captaincy to Rishabh Pant as Shubman Gill is released to recover from a neck injury. South Africa, coming into the game without Kagiso Rabada, will look to continue with the winning group with no expected changes. More in cricket, captain Ben Stokes produced a brilliant 5-wicket haul to give England the edge over Australia at the end of day 1 in the opening first test in Perth. Opting to bat first, England endured a horror start, slipping to 39 for 3. Ollie Pop, Harry Brook added 55 runs for the 4th wicket, but visitors failed to build on the partnership and were eventually bowled out for 172. Mitchell Starc was the chief destroyer with sensational figures of 7 for 58. In reply, Stokes, who managed only 6 runs with the bat, shone with the ball, inspiring England's fight back with a 5-wicket haul. At stumps, Australia were reeling at 123 for 9, trailing England by 49 runs. That's all for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.